aka Patters. AKA Patters. I'm here, Peter A. DeLuca. I am your host, Peter A. DeLuca. Welcome to episode 486 of AKA Pad's Audio Audacity podcast. We have a big one. We have one of the greats, and we have something that, again, we always approach this scenario. The internet is tearing something apart, but to properly discuss it, we have to go back to the original. I'm talking Pinocchio, 1940. The internet, your pop culture king over here. I'm your host, by the way, Peter A. DeLuca, another known as your spicy taco roast beef sandwich, the creator of Uzi Suzy Trial by Fire. Your boy right now hooking you up with free trading cards. If you only go to AKAPAD.com, fill out a form, sign up for the newsletter. I'll mail you some Wolfpack trading cards. We have new ones coming, new ones getting designed, new ones getting worked on all the time because I'm a creator. And we're talking, well, let's just get back into it. There's so much for me to unpack when I'm talking about Pinocchio 1940. Now, the next episode, 487, we're racing towards 500, leading into the 31 Days of Dread, by the way. That is one horror movie a day for the entire month of October, starting with X. Yes, it's going to be X, then it's going to be Black Phone, or Black Phone, then X. We'll see. What do I have to unpack? Why am I hyper? Why? It's like I drank like 10 coffees today. I haven't. I only had about 3 to 4. I already worked out, ate some rice, had some peanut butter. What is it about this movie that really messed me up, people? It messed me up because we haven't done a lot of animation on this podcast. And I relatively am known as an artist, as an illustrator. Kind of like where I made my name, where I got my bag. And growing up, you have to subvert expectations. This is a part of being a teenager. If you ask me what the top animated features of all time were, I would say Fantasia, number 1, also 1940. Then I would say Akira. And then I would say American Pop, directed by the great Ralph Bakshi. Ultimo too. We know Ultimo for Akira. Fantasia in the modern age never got there. Never had like a revival. Fantasia 2000 equally. You can put those two movies together. I mean, masterpieces, both of them. Akira has gone through a YouTube revival. People are not only obsessed with Akira, they're just obsessed with the production, the meaning, the manga, everything it's based on. There's so much commentary on Akira. Then American Pop is just gone down the memory hole. Only the faithful remember American Pop. I guess I'm one of the faithful. And then when I would discuss Disney, I mean, we got to go back here. Yeah, I would always make that discussion point, make that argument that Snow White, the previously released movie, the first ever theatrical released animated movie. And then, honest to God, I would shoot all the way down to Rescuers Down Under, again, subverting expectations. And then we hit the Disney of the 90s, a Disney that I mostly remember growing up on. Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Lion King, Pocahontas, the absolute boom period. But then, what happened to Pinocchio when it comes to what I'm about to say? Well, I always remembered Pinocchio 1940 as creepy, awkward, off-putting, dark. All the commentators back this up. I don't think there's one that doesn't. And that was it. Maybe watched it a few times. So gearing up to discuss this Pinocchio remake, our next episode that is literally setting the internet on fire. It's been downvoted or all the other stuff from Rotten Tomatoes. Even though we don't respond to Rotten Tomatoes, we don't. No credibility with that site whatsoever. But I'm watching the remake. I'm watching Tom Hanks. I'm watching all these things, and I have just nothing but questions of how they're going to handle a lot of the material. Are we going to see the whale? Are we going to see the fox thing, the mute cat, the songs? We already know about the and I just stopped watching the movie after he got turned to life from the fairy godmother. I stopped, and I just went to Disney Plus. The huge advantage of having a library that you can stream. But I went to the original, and I realized something. I realized that this movie is it. So, what I told you about previously about my top animated movies I had growing up. There's not work, there's not life, there's not experience, there's not loss, there's not victories, there's no gain behind those opinions. But I lived a life now. And when I watched Pinocchio, it just shook me. It shook me to how perfect and artistic and solution solving and, dare I say, swinging for the fences that this movie is. And it just coagulated, turned to concrete slowly as I watched it, realizing that this is their true masterpiece. When it comes to animation, when it comes to Disney, when it comes to what they were doing at this time, there is no higher movie. Now, let's just discuss and go through a little bit of what was coming out, just theatrically. Even though the theatricals and the shorts run together, you got to put yourself in the place of when this movie came out. You gave them a nickel, and you got a good amount of time in the movie theater. There was shorts, there was newsreels, more animation, all kinds of fun stuff was around these movies. The idea was to keep you in the seat, make money on concessions. Maybe the business model for theaters never changed. But we have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 1937. Then we have Pinocchio and Fantasia. I already mentioned these. 1940. Then we have The Reluctant Dragon. I'm not even familiar with this one. I can't even tell you about it. Maybe the only one. And then we have Dumbo, 1941. Bambi, 1942. And we have a run. Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, Bambi. 1937 to 1942. That's a hell of a... That's a run that gives you nothing but icons there. But Pinocchio is... there's so much to admire. There's so much to analyze by solution providing. I mean, the way how this story moves and the gaps that it leaves, you're going with it. It's insane. But you're captivated, and the emotion and the darkness. People, it is there. Now, do I want to go into like scene by scene? Do I want Monster of the Whale, the sound design for Monster of the Whale, everyone turning into the donkey, corralling and putting, almost like excommunicating the donkeys that can speak, the whole idea of Pleasure Island, the idea, too, of the fairy godmother, the animation and the rotoscoping for the fairy godmother. It's vast. The absolute solution of Jimmy the Cricket breaking the fourth wall, talking to everyone at the same time, including himself. It's insane. And it's freaking intelligent. And it goes to show you that there's no barrier when it comes to storytelling. What we think is new now, people, it is old shit. It's old. It's old. But people today are they're struggling to make their name, to make an impact, to make things work. And that's a part of it. And today I think we see so many experiments that fail. And that kind of goes into our next episode. Not that I view the live action as a failure. I really don't. But this movie is such a complete joy, such an eye-opening experience. It really makes me just want to go through the entire release. Like, I want to go through every single one of these animated movies and check them out in order. Yeah, it sucks that I'm starting with Pinocchio, but I felt like that was I felt like I had to, because this is, I don't think they made anything better. You make some of the, some of them come close, some of them are there. The leaps in logic are very similar to what we see in Lion King. But this is a little bit of the magic that animation holds on us, because we do identify and we put ourselves into the character's shoes when it comes to animation. And this is a point I feel like it's never made enough, it's never made long enough or hard enough. That's what she said, but it's never really there. Animation, we project ourselves onto these characters unlike anything, and it's a part of the spectacle of knowing how it's made, and we know that there's a human hand involved with that, and it's there. And we don't get it with the CGI stuff. We really don't. We don't get it with Pixar because it's just too perfect and too many cooks in the kitchen for that. But when it comes to hand-drawn animation, most of the time we're seeing the work of limited people. And Pinocchio comes through. So check it out. It's on Disney Plus. This may begin a long analysis of just me gushing over all of these Disney movies, giving you the highs and lows. I don't believe there's anything higher animation-wise than this Pinocchio 1940. It's there. It's just perfect. Everyone, AKAPAD here. I love you. Next episode 487 will be the 2022 live action remake / update starring Tom Hanks as Geppetto, available right now on Disney Plus. Let's get into it.